Okay, so good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody, whatever your time zone and everything is there. So I hope everybody has joined, and now we are good to go. Okay. So today our topic is playing with words, experimental and interactive writing. So today we are gonna basically learn about how to we can formulate our writing, how to play with the words and our writing style, and we are basically main focus would be on like personal voice and risk taking in writing apart from the traditional writing style and the normal traditional way of writing things in a way how we usually do. Today we are going to learn that how can we express out things in a much more better way and also wait, my notifications are a bit disturbing. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, uh, so today we are going to learn that how we can move away from the profound and the conventional writings pattern and writing style and play with the words and writing style and other stuff and enhance our writing and also deep dive into different styles of writing and also with the words. So today, uh, so yeah, for very first thing is playing with the words experimental and interactive writing. So why do we write poetries and why do we do these things and all? So it's basically just to find the voice, the voice, the thoughts which we want to express, the emotions which we have, or the things which we have observed. So in that way, how can we, add risk and expressions? Because many times some thoughts would have come to your mind that, okay, but you thought, will it be okay to write on it? Like, will that be fine for me to, write that thing up? Like in my personal case, if I give you an example, when I wrote my book, in that way, after writing that, I thought, okay, it has gone too much deep into multiple emotions like depression, stress, anxiety, and various other thoughts. So, will that be okay for me to share all those things in a book? So then, to counter that, I added a stanza in the author's note that it is not necessary that author should know everything personally, but it might be possible that he must have observed those things to some other place, the people or that way. But that is not every time necessary that you need to, hesitate back. Obviously, that was my first time, so that mistake or anything, not a mistake, but that step which I took, but it is not necessarily that you also need to take that step. You can freely go with it, and that's what we are going to learn today. So like words and association chain. So these words and all these associations. So when I say word voice, what's the first word that comes to your mind? Like, if I give you a word as voice, what's the first word, every a word which comes to your mind? So we are going to start one by one, and then it is going to be a chain. So like if I give the word voice, so the first person will tell the word immediately, the word which comes to his or her mind, and after that, from that word, what the other person thinks about that. So same way, we are just going to do a small activity so that I can give you an overview. What are we going to cover it today? So you can either unmute yourself and say it or simply write it in the chats.
Voice, for me, the first word is speech.
Okay, that's great. So from this thing we have got, so from voice, we have got to another word which is speech, right?
Yeah.
And
A
what's the other?
sound.
Sorry, Manha, what was?
I said a sound made by someone. A sound.
What is
Sound.
sound? Okay. Another person.
Oh, lip movement.
So what you
Like
what's the first word when you hear the word sound? What comes to your mind?
like lip movement.
Lip movement.
Yeah, and it has its own sounds too.
Scream.
What is it?
Scream.
Scream. Okay. So these are the few. So that's how you can see, how words has evolved all the way from a single. Wait, I've my screen. Okay. So I apologize if I've written any spelling wrong or anything, but so from here we can see, or is there any participant left? Okay. Yeah, two of them are left. So what all other things which comes to your mind after hearing this noise, resistance come to my mind? Okay. So from here we have noise, and from here resistance. Okay. So in that way, if you just see, okay, from the single word voice, it has evolved all the way to resistance. Since both of them are related, but very like they correspond and correlate to each other, but they are not very similar to each other. But just by one word or the other, we've made a chain of different words, and that's how we came all the way from voice, then speech, then sound, then lip movement, to scream, noise, and then resistance. So this is how that if this is how the beauty of risk taking is. If we would have just used the word voice or the speech or one thing, but then on we continue, keep on evolving and growing it, and that's how it all the way ended up to the resistance. But if we gonna add a few more chains into it, then entirely the whole meaning of that word or everything will change, and it will never be the same as it was started with. Okay, so that's how any word, or when you take an when you take a word, or when you write a poem about something or some topic, slowly and gradually it meanings, it expressions what author wanted to say once, and everything by interpreting its suggestions, by interpretations, by multiple interpretations of interpretations, and everything, the words evolves. And that's how playing with the words is very important, because then only you will able to get to the root point, the root word of every single poetry, or to the root thing which the writer or the poet want to express. So that's how you go from a single from a single word all the way to a very different this thing. Now for the next one. Okay, for the next one we have, oh wait, how do we,
How do you delete the text, you mean?
yeah, that's exactly like how, because it is coming in every single one.
Can you maybe click on it again? Oh yeah, eraser. Yeah. When you click on it, not with the normal mouse.
Mm, no, not okay, I guess from here I can, okay, that's how I can,
Double click and then maybe double click on that.
okay, yeah, now it's done.
Oh,
Okay, so thank you so much, and right. Okay, so now we have different topic. Mhm. I shouldn't have used that in the first place, I guess. Anyways, next slide. So, what is experimental writing? Okay, so today we are gonna very much experimenting with the presentation as well. So, as it is. So, what is experimental writing? So, how do we see? Obviously, when we are gonna play with the words, play with the writing style, we are definitely gonna do different experiments. Might get successful, might get flop. Like I tried using those pen, for example, right now also. I tried using this tool, okay, the so-called tool, this and now I was stuck with that thing. So it might get helpful in the first place when we were just adding chains of word, but then it became a problem that it was appearing on every single slide. So same way, these things also happen. So what is experimental writing? Okay, so in writing also we have to do some experiments, like breaking the traditional rules of grammar, form, and genre. Like, every time we have a traditional position that, okay, we are gonna follow this grammatical style, or we are gonna follow this form of writing, or we are gonna follow, if we are taking a niche genre, then we are gonna continue all around this genre. But if I give you an example, for example, we have Emna here, right, with us in the call, and she has like I've closely observed her poetry from last few days, and she has written many of the poetries which are not in the traditional format. She breaks it. Her poetries are very raw and not in that form when where every other traditional poetries are, but still they are beautiful. Why? Because that's the way, that's their natural position, right? And she express out in that natural way. Same way every other you have seen multiple writers which do in our own community as well, that we don't sometimes follow the grammar, form, genre, or anything. Playing with the structures, like, sometimes you make the lists of or fragment the whole or mixed media with it, like you add pictures in between, or sometimes you just write two lines of a single poem, like, sometimes you have a whole paragraph as a poetry, sometimes you just have 2 to 3 lines on the same poem, and you carry forward on that same pace. So that's how you can try, sometimes making it longer, shorter. Okay, then there are few examples. Like, there are different genres within the poetry which are technically and particularly dedicated for experimental writing, which is prose poetry, blackout poetry, diary style narration, and social media inspired texts. Now we are going to talk more on this, but there's a quote here which is like, writing is not just about clarity, it's about discovery. Because obviously you have to discover your own style of writing, your own way, how you gonna write things, your own like writing pattern. Like, every writer has their own position. For example, ancient writers like Rumi or Kafka or these all, they have many things which they just say in few lines. The entire poetry is summarized in just few lines, and they don't sometimes don't even have a poetic poetic style in it. Like, they don't rhyme, they don't have a rhyme scheme, but still they are one of the best poetries, and they are the most respected poets of all times. It's because they use and stuck with their own writing style. They didn't try to copy others, but they discovered their own writing style, and that's how you can also do it. And same way, prose poetry. So what is prose poetry, right? So it's a blend of paragraph-like structure and poetry rhymes and imageries. So these are two of the most famous prose poets. Like example, you take, a short paragraph feels like a poem without any line breaks. There are multiple poetries. Like, for example, if all of you would do remember from the class of Evita, where she showed one of the poem, which was entirely written in a clustered format, which was very chaotic, and it was showing that raw about wolves on that packs of wolf. So that same way, it was that kind of prose poetry where it was not necessarily need to be in rhyme, but it was breaking that same thing. There are multiple poetries which which are completely a whole paragraph. They are a short paragraph, but these are the two of the famous prose poets, and that's how you don't necessarily need to follow a particular rhyme scheme, or you don't necessarily need to go through every single thing. You can just cluster all and write it, but still it should have your own originality, your own style of writing. Okay, it's not that you look at prose poets and you continue with them. You have to discover your own writing style and go with it. But obviously, you can't just totally cut off from the main agenda of the main route, which is poetry. but the way how you write it, the way how you present it. Example, if we describe rain without using the word rain, like if we describe something, if we describe sunset without using the word sunset, same way, we just the activity which we did in the previous class, where we try to dramatically go through with simple stuff in the very long format, like we try to go with the how what we feel or what the room all around us or everything. So we try to express that in a very dramatic format. Same way, if you try to describe it in a very paragraphical manner, and in a paragraph style, and you don't need any line breaks to be poetic. You definitely, if you want, that's a very great thing. But if you don't want, that's much more greater. Only if it's your own raw style. Second is blackout poetry. Like this is nowadays very much popular, where you take a whole paragraph and then just go with few particular lines in few particular stuff in the whole page or something, and then you make a whole poem out of it. So taking the existing text, like for example, a newspaper, an article, etc., and then blacking out like some words, letters which you don't need, and then you make out a whole poem out of it. So it is like subtraction rather than addition. So in this way, you focus on subtracting from a whole clustered information, and you focus on the thing which is important for you or which you mostly resonate or feels with. Because sometimes art doesn't necessarily needs to come from adding up things. It can come up by subtracting the things as well. You might have lots and lots of thoughts and ideas in your mind, but then you have to segregate them. You have to like you have to segregate them, and you have to take out all those things which you don't feel or don't resonate much, and then cutting away instead of creating. So many times you need to cut away things. So that's what the blackout poetry is. uh, you know and then we have diary style narration, and we all know famous the Anne Frank diary, the diary of Anne Frank, or the perks of being in this wallflower, or multiple there's a Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but that Man's Search for Meaning, or Anne Frank's diary. So this is also a sort of poetry, but this is a narration where writing is a form of personal diary entries. Like you are just writing down your diaries, like the way you write your journal every day or your daily bedtime diary is also a form of poetry, is also a form of writing. But that doesn't follow any traditional writing patterns, thoughts, but still that holds a value in it. Because diary writing is basically honesty with some risk, because you are obviously not following the traditional methods. So that's a risk. With unfiltered voice, your true emotions, your raw feelings, emotions, the way, you are doing things. So that's how diary style narration also works here. Then we have social media inspired texts. So many of the poets nowadays, if you are like all of you are on social media, so they have multiple things. For example, here I have one post which is from social media, which is like put your thoughts to sleep, do not let them cast a shadow over the moon of your heart. Let go of thinking by Rumi. So this is a poetry in itself, right? This is a writing in itself, yet it is a very, you would say, it doesn't follow any subtle format of rhyme scheme, any, like any of the traditional methods of writing. It doesn't have any title, any format, anything, but still it has a very deeper meaning. It conveys the thought. That's all. So using formats like tweets, DMs, captions, many times you see, many of your captions which you guys posted. So those have captions and hashtags have the poetic position in it. Like WhatsApp chats are the literal forms of social media inspired text. Like it breaks the serious boundaries of literature. It's not that literature is a very serious subject and you need to go through it. It's a thoroughly going. It's a very subtle subject, and it's a very progressive subject which evolves over time, and also that literature as a subject evolves. Alongside that, it progresses, and it doesn't have any boundaries all over it that you have to be in structure or you have to be in that position for it. Like is many times some short stories which are told all over in the tweets, or a poem using Instagram captions or everyday language can be an art too. Like, somebody's famous phrase. For example, from the movie, if I would say, uh, there's a like good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and if I don't see a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, that line. So that itself is a famous poetry, right? That itself is a writing and a famous thing which you could resonate with. But that doesn't follow anything which has a traditional form of, a traditional form of poetry in it. So, I hope I'm clear so far, and I'm not going with a strong pace. If anything, any questions, anything, if you want to discuss or object.
They're all reacting pretty good. You
Uh,
guys, if you have any questions, always feel free to unmute yourself and ask them, or any suggestions or anything to add. Because it's
everything.
it's not a coaching call by Vikas, we try to make it more like a community call, so feel free to add value and to add some thoughts as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because now we are gonna, like, after everything is clear, we are gonna move to the interactive part as well. Like, I have planned few activities in the further one. So this time I thought I'm not gonna mix up both, and they are both in a very segregated format now. Okay, so personal voice. See the unique rhyme. See, everybody has their own personal voice. That's why you write poetry, is right? To express out your thoughts, emotions, the feelings which you feel, the embedded, your own like observations, the thing which you always wanted to express but you couldn't. So you take help from poetry to help you, to be your friend, to be the way how you express your feelings, your thoughts, and your books are your friends as well. Your writings are the one your best listeners, because they always listens to you. So that's how your personal voice. So everybody has a unique personal voice. Like everybody has a fingerprint. No two fingerprints can be identical in the world. Same way, no two feelings, the person which you're feeling cannot be similar. Like you both would be happy, but the level of happiness, the way, the sense, the main core essence will always be different. No two feelings could also match identically. There could be a very great match, like you both are sad, both are happy, but there is always a variation. So everybody has their same way, everybody has their unique personal voice, a unique rhythm, tone, a style, and the sound, your own inner voice, right? That is not identical with anybody, because I personally believe that nobody knows more than you about you yourself. So, of course, everything within you is much more unique than anybody can ever introspect or understand, right? So, there are many tasks which you can do, like 3 sentences. It is not an activity right now, but this is something which you can practice many times. That 3 sentences which describe yourself in completely different tones. Like one could be serious and academic, and one could be very sarcastic and funny, and one could be poetic, lyrical, and which one you felt the most. And every time, if you would see, that would depend based on your situation, based on your surroundings. Like, if you're at a very good and happy mood, then there might be that your sarcastic and funny position would be that you're feeling the most right now. But that won't be possible when you are at some other phase or something. So these things which you can do to understand and to, come up with your own personal voice. That you can write 3 sentences which are describing yourself, but three in a very complete different tone, and then which one you're resonating most at that time, and then you can practice at the different position, and same way when you will look both of them, they would be completely different. Then, risk taking in writing. See, risk is breaking the expectations and pushing comfort zones. Of course, like if you are always going to stay with your comfort zone and stay with what you are doing, then obviously your growth would be limited. But if you go out, push your comfort zone, you experiment with your words, experiment with your writing and experiment with your own self, your own understanding thoughts. If you like reading rom-com, just like, you just like reading romance. But then if you won't give a try to some serious crime thriller or some biography or something else, then you would always be limited to that one particular genre. So you need to break and push your comforts that, okay, my writing comfort is only to the historical text. but you also need to try to go to some fiction. You need to explore those. Then only you will get to know beautiful stories like The Alchemist or multiple, because everything has beautiful stories. Uh, like if from business perspective, we would say Steve Jobs' biography is so great, but same way it's very identical that the book The Alchemist is also very great, but both doesn't have the same genre, right? One is biography and one is different. But if you're not going to explore both of them, how you're going to get to know about both of them, right? The way how you watch movies, like you watch horror movies, you watch normal movies, same way you have to experiment with your own writing as well. Writing about subjects, using stage structures, like, blending reality and imagination. You can make separate for your imagination as well as for your reality, and then merge both of them together, like the Harry Potters, right? And Lord of the Rings, and these things. So that's how you can also take risk in your writing, and you might be the next J.K. Rowling's, or you might be the next you know anybody, like any of the great author you can think of or who you idolize, because there are multiple names to take. So there's a famous quote which says that life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Because of course, the level of your courage, the proportion, the more you be courageous, the more you have more scope to come up, and you're going to expand your learning, your own position. The more you're going to be concise to your own comfort zone, and this thing, you are not going to take risks, because obviously to take a risk it takes courage, you know and as it's rightly said, that life shrinks and expands in proportion to your courage. So your courage is equivalent to how big and grand your life would be. You can either be a normal 9 to 5 person and doing just something simple, and you could be a great person doing uh, very unique, like, which is never thought of, and then you can make a difference. Which is the famous poet, the Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken, right? uh, Now we have a small activity here for the first, and it is like interactive experiment. So one single scenario is ordering food at a restaurant. So suppose you guys are ordering a food from restaurant. So, or like you might order online as well, but this one is for ordering food at restaurant, and you have to rewrite it in a different risky voices, like as a Shakespeare's monologue, as a horror scene, and as a WhatsApp chat. So these are the three things you had to try, that you're ordering a food as a Shakespeare's monologue, where you're going to describe this, the bring the stars, tables, and everything, everything with a very dramatic and a very overjoyed format, or in a horror scene, and also as a casual WhatsApp chat. So all of you can try that. The wrong genre. So it is the wrong genre game, and we are like, take a simple scenario, ordering a food at restaurant, and use in the three different scenarios you can try, and you can give your response either by unmuting yourself or by writing down in the chats. So yeah, the time is yours. You have 5 minutes, and try doing it. And if anybody has any questions, anything they want to ask so far, feel free to ask. You know, or anything you want to share, like your own personal experience or anything you tried.
Sounds good. Please, everybody react real quick with an emoji that you understand the task and that you're going to do it right now. We have Freya reacting. That's nice. Emna. Perfect. Arteolik, Manha, Blue is doing also something. So I think Blue as well.
Blue is the most creative fellow. Like, he is the, you would say, he is keep on doing a lot of things. He has too much energy.
Yeah.
He's an artist, a poet, and a great actor as well.
Chris.
Who is done with the work? Raise your hands. Or at least let me know how much more time do you need. Right, not yet.
So this time I was also participating and I've also written a few things like, So, okay. So others need 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Until then, I'll narrate something which I have right now typed upon. So if I would be writing it as a Shakespeare monologue, it would be one sustenance dough cancel upon the scroll of Parmesan, a feast of full of portions of humble bread, yet some cl yet clothed with butter. Bring forth with the choicest draw and the nectar from hunger, noble sir. And from my soul, fares fearlessly than 10,000 soldiers upon the battlefield. Bring me something that will embrace and grace me with the most delighted thing, which will not just, uh, fulfill my hunger and my feast, but also gonna make a beautiful, pleasurable sense to my soul. Felt like the beautiful way why I even exist. Give me the answer by your food, that why the word food and why I came to order from your restaurant. That don't just so okay,
That's epic.
this was the most
That's
terrible which I
epic.
could do, because I simply just said, don't just fulfill my hunger, bring the whole army of 10,000 soldiers, and anything. Okay. And
You
don't
made
just
me hungry
fulfill
as
my
well,
feast,
Artiholik. That's right. Made me hungry as well.
Yeah,
Great job.
don't just fulfill my feast, bring something which will satisfy my soul and my soulful purpose of coming to your restaurant and eating. Same way, if it would be an horror scene, how would it be? A menu trembled in my hands. The waiter's smile was too wide. Then I realized he wasn't smiling. He had no skin over his body. Too knowing, dishes were named after people who they have killed for not giving the tips. Not recipes, but the murder stories. My throat tightened as he whispered, "So rare," or "Well done, what you want to order." I simply said a glass of water, but the person stares at me and said, "We only serve blood." When I looked closer, the steak had my name carved in it, along with my grave.
Is it like an addition or is it something different?
So I've written something, and then while saying on, I thought, okay, I can add few more lines in it.
Nice.
So that is my debating, the debater inside me, that's which just keep on adding up things. I was the good interjector.
That's a great example. Anyone else wants to do?
And if it would be a WhatsApp chat, how would it be? Like, bro, menu is 20 pages long. What? Is it a novel? Just order something simple, yeah. Because waiter is looking at me like I insulted his ancestors. Prince, what are you even trying to order? I don't know, man. Like, looking at the waiter. What is the best thing you have? And then so we can make endless conversations in it. And at the end, I just would say, whatever you feel the best, give me that. Because I'm very bad at ordering.
Blue, you also wrote something, right?
Yeah.
You want
Twice.
to read it in your manner?
Yep.
The yar was cherry on top.
Crossing cut.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yar means,
Crossing cut
Vika.
set.
yeah.
Packet sausage. Bow stitch. Ringing tones and fooding and flooding. Color swatch, timing orders, grace, race, grease, burn, and burn, buns delivered.
You really need to do the audio for the cartoons or something.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you should
That's
apply
nice.
as a voice artist.
Yeah,
Probably should.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
It's shaped like a bun. That
That's a nice one.
Oh, somebody
Sure.
has requested that can I ask him to read one more time? It was really
want
good.
me to read it? Okay. Crisscross, cut set, package sausage, bow stitch, ringing tones, fooding and flooding, color swatches, timing orders, grace, race, grease, burn, buns delivered.
Oh, that's quite great. The energy, yeah. You remind me of somebody in nationals when we were at debate. There was a girl and she was always, speaking everything as if she was the military general, and she's like, and now I'm gonna distract. Now I'm gonna put you with the another. So here is the another constructor which I put on. That my lord. And she used to have that as if she was in the courtroom and we were the bloody peasants looking at her. Of course, I was the interjector and then I interjected her well. But while listening to a debate, I felt like, oh, yeah, I'm done.
Did you
Yeah.
say Emma? I heard my name.
Oh, you have done it. Okay, Emna, you can continue.
No, no, no. I don't feel like writing right now. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. It's okay.
So sorry.
Uh, I think like it's taking too much. So yeah, we can move on to different thing. And if anybody has done, uh, I'll post it in the community and we can go for it, right? And yeah. So. Shall we continue? Okay. Now, uh, techniques of playing with the words, right? Okay, so if you would say stream of consciousness, the words like as Blue has carefully demonstrated this thing, my point, that the stream of consciousness is in every single sentence which he narrated, the energy, the accent which he had, and the level, the dramatic feeling, everything. So that was the stream of consciousness which you need to have, not something dull like same which I said. Everything was on the flat note, but it was not of that Shakespeare style, but the way how Blue narrated it, that's where you have the consciousness in every single stream, every single word. And non-linear narrative like me, like I narrated in a very linear narrative format, not not very adding up emotions and anything. But then that's how, if you would take a rightful example of Blue and me. So I narrated it in a very linear format. It was like as if I'm just merely reading it. But how Blue narrated it, that's how you do it, add the energy to it, and add breath to it, add life to it. Magic, as we discussed earlier, right, in the previous classes. And hybrid forms like poetries with essays, letters with lists, diary entries with your writings. And that's how you do a hybrid format. Like these are the techniques of playing with the words, right? And like you tried ordering a food, but in a Shakespeare's format. Okay, so that is also how you play with the words and visual experiments like shapes, poems, scattered words. And now we have a great example of Blue again, where the way how he expressed that, how he's ordering food as the Shakespeare. So that entire thing, the way he's saying, my bone, my liver, and this and that. So that's how you visually express. You relive the character. And there are a few examples which we have, which do these things, which are like E. Cummings, Italo, and contemporary and Insta poets. And we do have one Insta poet with us in this session only, Emna. And you can see this thing. So these are the few ones which have done these. One is famous in hybrid forms, visual experiments, and then Insta poetry. She has a great community. She has around 20,000 or something thousand plus engagements every month, and that's absolutely great. So she is doing at Insta Poets. So I thought rather than giving some extras example, I should give an example of somebody who is within between us. So I gave her example, and she has a good Insta position and our own community as well. Uh, like Ria and others, and our own Alive Poet Society and this thing. We have a great network of 1.4 thousand people who keep on posting every day and this and that. So that's how you do. These are the techniques of playing with the words you express, and that's how you build a whole position. And I think this is the way. And now we have gonna have another interactive experiment, which is blackout poetry. So I think blackout poetry would be too much for now because obviously it is going to take too much time. And it is like you select a random newspaper, printed text. You can try it as yourself, or I'll post one article which I have in the community, and you can try on them that way. That a random newspaper printed in the text, black out words, and you have to black out some words and create the poetry hidden poem which is within that. Okay, and share the outcomes and with all of us in that post, and you can do and you can engage. All right. Uh, so that's how you can try. Okay, so there are a few things in the chat, which is he is also having a yeah, I'm low key. He is not he is don't expose me. Ah, come on, Ria. If you have such a great, I'm sorry I wasn't aware of that. But I'll definitely add that thing. Okay, and then yeah. So I apologize, but I wasn't aware. I only knew of her, so I just added that. But otherwise, I would have added yours as well. So you can try this activity at your own place, and I'll post in some articles, and you can randomly look for some others article as well at for your convenience, and you know that's that way. Then this is one random article from the Wikipedia. If you would see that. on poetry, and you can find a hidden poem within it. It's just that you have to look for it. You have to just you know black out the unnecessary things, and you can make a whole poem out of this article. That's what the blackout poetry is basically. Okay. Uh, and then finding courage in writing. So encourage failures. If you fail to do something, it's okay, right? It's drafts happens messy, but that means you still try. And write like no one is grading you, because of course nobody is there to grade you. You are your best, and you have to describe your own way. So there is nothing wrong in it, right? Uh, there's nothing wrong in that, and that there's nothing which can be said that this is a bad format and this is a good format. It's just that sometimes we are unable to work upon, and we have a fogging in our brain about something. So in that way you can go with it, and you can encourage your own self with the writing, as we take in the session, keeping the poetry fire alive. And in this way, right? And That's how you do it. And take risks, okay? And honesty, vulnerability, and bold experimentations. Try different experiments, your own thoughts, your own expressions, and the way how you are gonna take actions. Like try different methods, try blackout method, try adding up word looping and all these stuff. And then we can continue with the this thing. That you if you're gonna continue with your own experiments and your own way, right? Then ultimately uh, these things you're ultimately going to make it. So okay, now we have another thing, which is interactive experiments 3. This we can do right now. It's collaborative chaos. Okay, so we start with a sentence which is, tonight the city refused to sleep, and each of the participants, all of us, will add one line but in a very different tone. Okay, and end result will look at the collectively what we have created all together, right? So, yeah. So, now we can try on this thing, that that thing. Okay, so we have first is tonight the city refused to sleep, and every participant can add one line but in a very different tone, and ultimately we are going to reach to one collective experimental piece. Okay, so as it says, you can either unmute yourself and say it, or put it in the chats. Okay, and yeah. Now we can have anyone who can just continue. Finally synced with the Metro Weave. Okay, that's a good one. Finally swept with, finally synced with me to weep. Any other like another line which any other participant want to add? I hope I have made myself clear. Like I'm not cluttering you with the multiple informations in this thing.
We got 2 more in the comments. Nice.
Okay. The city lights. Okay, so I think everybody has done it, right? Yeah. So if we look at this cluster of chaos, or if somebody has added one more, spotlight, set light, refuse to darkness. Okay. So if we now look at this, it clearly says that, okay, tonight, I think few more. Yes, everyone is so creative. Yeah, that's true. Everybody is really very creative and very much talented as well. And thanks to our captain Elia, that he has made all these creative people all together and made them one to one great creative community. So, uh, with the thank note to the captain, we'll start. So tonight, the city refused to sleep, finally synced with me to weep. Its street humming with a restless beat, the city lights shine more than seen in your eyes. The tears fail to reach my tracks. Time to pull away my old friend's pills. Spotlight set light, refuse the darkness. So if you would just look at it, okay, so we all collaborated, started with the one simple sentence, and we added one sentence by all, and now this whole has a entire different meaning and a very beautiful sentence which we have created, right? That and with a great ending and starting. So that's all. Like end result is always a collective experimental piece. Now this is an experimental piece which we have experimented and played with different words. Like we tried, we added up in different things, like some with light, some with adding friends, spills, another thing. But we all come to a conclusion, a collective conclusion, which eventually says that we made the entire tone of this sentence, that tonight the city refused to sleep, into a very different thing which we initially started. That's what is experimenting with your words. Like that's how you add interactive you add interactions, you add your own thoughts, your own expressions, and you synchronize it with others, with its own distinction, yet yet containing its individuality and a collaborative formation as well. So every sentence has its own individuality. Every sentence contain an individual meaning, an individual form, an individual feeling, an individual expression. But when all these sentences come together, they clutter, they come together, they made an entire different form. So they make a different position and different positioning and different meaning when compared to which they were individual. So that's how you experiment, that you start within one individual things, you combine different individual experiments, not experiments, I mean individual sentences, individual meanings which have their own expressions, own thoughts, and own feelings, and you clutter them, you combine them together. So that's how they maintain their individuality as well. Alongside that, they have a collaborative form, a collective form. Like, for example, if I give you an example from ours only. So, as an individual, we all are great, talented, creative together, right? Like, as an individual, we are very talented, creative, and good writers. But when we all come together, we make something which is like a creative community. And I'm guys, sorry guys for the background noise. Like I'm sorry for the background noise. It's the downstairs, something is going on, and that's not in my position, so I apologize. But what the point which I want to make here, okay, so what the point which I want to mention here is that, see, all of us as an individual are great writers, right? We do have great writings, great talent, but when we all come together, we have a different meaning. We represent a single strong association, which is Alive Poets Society, right? So in that way, it is like everybody maintain every sentence, every word, every line has its own individuality, but when they all come together, they have a collaborative form. And that's how these things go with it, right? Okay. Uh, Now, if we go to different, okay, I should be removing this. Uh, yeah, now. Okay. So if I go back to you, so what risk will you try in your next writing, and which voice feel unexplored? So what risk are you gonna? So this is a question in the middle of the session which I'm gonna ask. Like, what are the risks which you will gonna try now? Like based on everything and expressions which you tried so far. So what all risk you are planning to take in your upcoming poetries, in your upcoming creations and writings? And which of the voices which you feel are unexplored in the previous one, like the sentences which you made earlier? So what do you think is remain unexplored? So that we can discuss on that thing now. Okay, so I'm sorry. Uh, that okay. So because of these background noises, so that you guys have to go through this thing from last few lessons. I'm already doing this. Yeah, that's actually great. That's wonderful. So this is what this thing is like. So will you be trying for the next writings and any other thing, any other important topic which you want to discuss, or we move to our today's last slide of the day? Any other voice which you feel like unexplored? Blue has something to show all of us. What is it? Oh, you already tried this. Okay,
Yeah.
that's actually great thing because yeah, you already trying blackout poetry. That's really great and impressive. Uh, and okay, now we can move on to the last slide and which is the final wrap up. So writing is play plus courage. It's always the courage, as we have earlier said, discussed as well, that the courage is the main important thing. You need to break the traditional barriers and traditional writing patterns, but you also need to be concerned and you also need to be concise with the writing style. It doesn't that you break the whole idea of poetry, but you should also be giving your own individual sense, your own individuality to the writing and add a collaborative form as well. So that's the main objective of today, right? So being you have to explore your own writing style. It doesn't mean that you have to stay stuck with the one thing that okay, this is the one which I format, which I write, and I'm gonna stay with it. You have to keep on exploring, keep on trying, and do with your own, find your own writing style, right? And your personal voice is your superpower because of course nobody knows better than you about yourself, and your own personal voice, the voice within you, the person who you are within, that is your superpower, right? There's no one, no power in the world which can externally motivate you until you are not motivated from yourself, and nothing can stop you if you are internally motivated and internally committed. So that is the point. And then risk make writings alive, fresh, and authentic. Like if we today we if I give you an example, Blue has given this the Shakespeare style, and he has taken this. So of course, Shakespeare is never going to order food in a restaurant, like like we are never going to know that how Shakespeare is going to order the food in the restaurant. But when we do in these experiments, then we get to know from these dramatic styles and this thing, okay, that feels alive. That gives you a fresh and very authentic idea, a very real one idea. And same way, but it's a risk as well. But it's good to take risks, because then only you're gonna grow, and you have to show up your courage so that you can, build up. So, there's a one last question which I want to ask you all, that what would you write if you weren't afraid of anything? Like, if nothing is gonna do anything to you, what would be the things which you're gonna write? What would you write if you weren't afraid of anything? Like anything which you want to write, and you feel you stopped at, like it could be your personal feeling, any idea, your own backstory, something which you have experienced past, any past traumas or something which you want to, but you're still afraid of that, or you're holding it back. So what would you write if you weren't afraid, right? Like if you feel free to share, you can. And that's the last question which I have, and that's all. Poetry, my
Maybe
comfort zone, so
adding
nothing can
more
stop.
feelings.
Yeah, you were saying something. Sorry, I interrupted.
Adding more feelings, maybe.
Hmm. I'd write about my childhood. Oh, yeah, that's a great, intrusive thoughts. Okay, so this is the question, and I would request Elia if you can, post this question in the community as well, and ask everybody that what they are gonna write if they weren't afraid of anything. Uh, and anything, any note
It
which you
would be
want.
great if you can make a post on that
Yeah,
because it's from the call. Yeah.
I was planning to, and some other activities, so that we can share the people, and you can also tell your friends and others that, these are the few things which these are the interactive lessons which you take in the premium community. So yeah, if you become a part, you can also join us and enjoy the 1 hour session, 1 hour live session, and other thing as well. Uh,
Yeah. Alive Poet Society will not give it to the FBI. Not worry about this. The informations are safe here in the
yeah.
community.
Yeah, you are completely safe in our captain's hand, and our captain is looking absolutely smart with those glasses. I must compliment you for that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. If
And
you now have some feedback to the call, please share it in the chat. If you learned something, if you enjoyed it, this session, I
yeah,
would love to see some comments. Yeah.
any feedback or anything, and I guess then we can just simply, because the time is also up. I've taken your 10 minutes more. I always do, like I always, take more time than expected, but it's okay. Like as long as I don't bore you guys, that's fine.
Thank you, Manha. My school couldn't never teach me this stuff, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, and thank you so much for giving such a wonderful compliment. It's all thanks to this man wearing glasses. He holds the every compliment, He is the one behind everything. He's the backbone of the community. He's the brain of the community. He's the one who is running these all things tirelessly, working with multiple people as a personal level, professional level, and everything. So these all compliments, they deserve to only one person, and that's Ilya.
No, 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 no. You made the call, you made the presentation, you did the work. So thank you so much, Vikas. It's all
That's your
because of you. Thank you very
generosity.
much for this
That's your
work.
generosity.
Absolutely not. It's ours. All right, let's say it like this. It's ours as a community. So
Yeah.
thanks to everyone, and thank you to you, Vikas, for your time and for your preparation and for the great call.
So thank you everyone, and super useful motivation. One thing suggest is someone short. I can suggest is some short examples for your explanations. Yeah, I was planning to, but then I thought like the previous call, this might get big thing. But from next time, I'll definitely try to give some better examples rather than just beating around the movies and this. Uh, yeah, I generally quote things a lot. So, for example, prose poetry. Yeah, got to use my voice today. It's fun. Yeah, of course, you have a tremendous, beautiful voice. And for beginners like me, I love the lecture. Thank you. Yeah, your thought, as that's writing has no bounds rather than remind me, truly appreciate how you look to teach us the stuff. Thank you both, Ella and Vikas. Oh, thank you so much. Such a beautiful compliment. Oh,
The
and
painting behind you, what do you mean, me or Vikas?
who would say?
In the comments, like Artiholic is asking, Vikas, the painting behind you, have you painted it, Vikas?
Oh, all these paintings are these all the paintings? No, not all. Many of my are because of my friends. He's a great artist. My friends are very talented. Uh, so one or I do paint, but I'm not as good artist as him. Like if let me show you something if I could. So this is the one. If you can go back, so this is the hills which you can see from my school. So this is the one. Another one. So these are sketches. Yeah, this is the poster which my friend brought. This is a painting, but this is a painting. Like you could find this Spartan is a poster, but this is generally is hand painted it, and it took him.
Wow.
So yeah, this is a painting. This is also a painting, and as one more last, there's one more, which is this one. This is also painting.
That's great. Yeah.
So yeah, it's all compliments goes to my friend. He's the one who do all.
You should
I
join us. You should join us on school.
He is now preparing for NEET. He is very busy. He wants to be a doctor.
Oh, okay.
So he's preparing for a
Uh,
medical exam.
all right.
But I'll definitely convey your compliments to him. Uh, and you did look
Give
very
him.
smart in this
Yeah.
glasses. You should keep wearing it.
All right. If you don't have any more questions, then I would say thanks to everyone because you can stop the recording now. I think we are done.
Yeah,
The main
thank
part.
you.